Welcome to Looking Within, a podcast for the spiritual explorer in each of us. I'm Julie. I love to explore the inner life using contemplative practices, and I love to help others to do the same. In our time together, I hope you gain a sense of hope, meaning, joy, and love. As a Christian spiritual explorer, I hope to offer some thoughts to help you see God's presence and activity in ever-expanding ways. As you listen, ponder, and experience the divine, feel free to use the spiritual perspective you are most comfortable with in our practice today. Now, let's begin. Welcome to Looking Within on this Memorial Day, everyone. Today we remember those who have died in military service. This weekend is also that unofficial marker of the beginning of summer. I hope you've been having a good holiday weekend and that this launch into the summer months will be the beginning of some weeks that will feel a little more normal compared to the weeks we've just passed through. The warmer weather of summertime, of course, leads us to think about being outside more, of working in our yards and gardens, perhaps being at a lake cabin, or being refreshed and rejuvenated by our ability to interact with the natural world. There are many references in the Bible to nature, a reminder that creation was God's first book. Today, I'd like to look at one of those Bible verses, a favorite of mine from the Old Testament book of Jeremiah. The imagery in this passage is rich. It's easy to picture based on our own experiences out in nature, and I think it's a wonderful passage to reflect on during the time that our world has been moving through these past few months. The word pictures are ones that we can apply to our own lives, and they remind us that the natural world can be a mentor for us in how to live our lives. Through creation, we can see each part of the natural world living as its true self, living calmly and contentedly, being what it was made to be. Nature also teaches us how to go through each day with both life and death surrounding us, how to be resilient in the midst of challenges, and how to depend on the Creator's Spirit for our very being, for our very life. Here's the text now from Jeremiah 17, 7-8. But blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green, and they go right on producing delicious fruit. Let me read that once again. But blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green, and they go right on producing delicious fruit. Aren't those wonderful word pictures? A tree planted along a riverbank, its roots reaching deep into the water. And even when extreme heat or drought surrounds it, it knows to keep drawing on the water of the river so that its greenness and fruitfulness can continue. I find this verse so helpful during this particular time in history. Like the tree in our verse, we've all been surrounded in one way or another by the challenges of this time of pandemic. The extreme heat or cold of a particular season, times of drought, and high winds that trees in nature have to face metaphorically represent the recent experiences of humanity. Trees seem to be so resilient as they bend, adjust, and adapt to the conditions around them. And if they're fortunate enough to be growing next to a reliable source of water, they can continue to grow and flourish regardless of the climate that surrounds them. If the trees could talk to us, I think they would encourage us to be like them in our own way. They would rejoice at the life, beauty, and fruit that we each bring into the world. They would advise us to position ourselves close to a source of life-giving water and to deeply sink our roots into the soil so that when the winds batter against us, we'll be able to bend, to adapt, but not to break. I think they would also tell us to not panic when some branches or twigs wither and die or fall off due to wind, knowing that occasional pruning enables the remaining branches and twigs to be even stronger and more resilient. There is much in this verse from Jeremiah to take into our time of quiet now. You and I have much to learn from the trees. Let's think about that during our quiet moments together. In this quiet space and time, I'd invite you to gently close your eyes. I'll sound the Tibetan singing bowl, which will call you to look within. As you're listening to the bowl's reverberations, take 3 deep breaths. Then let your breathing return to normal whenever you'd like. Hear the sound of the bowl now. Let it center you. Let it remind you that God is here with you. Picture a good-sized tree in the middle of summer, planted along a riverbank. Imagine the life-giving help it gets from the soil it's planted in and the river water that it drinks. Notice the tree bending in the wind, perhaps losing a few twigs and branches, but sporting beautiful green leaves and luscious fruit on its branches. You are that tree. God is the soil you're anchored in. God is also the life-giving water that quenches your thirst in heat or drought. And the winds? They are the Spirit, blowing sometimes gently, sometimes more forcefully, helping you learn to be strong and resilient, and to occasionally prune things that are not life-giving for you. Ponder these word pictures for you. What are they showing you? What are you being called to do, or to be, or to adjust to? I'll be back with you in about 3 minutes. I'd invite you now to take a few deep breaths in and out. In and out. Let these breaths fill you with strength and energy. Hear me sound the Tibetan singing bowl, and as the sound of the bowl reverberates and slowly dies away, you can gently open your eyes, remaining still for a moment longer. Before I offer some closing comments, I want to thank you for listening and for your support of this podcast. Looking Within is a part of Gloria Day's Contemplative Practices ministry and is made possible through the generosity of your financial gifts. Contributions can be made by texting 855-461-0209 or online at gloria-day.com/giving. Thank you so much for your financial support. Today we've thought about trees, especially the tree in Jeremiah 17. Though trees don't themselves choose where they're planted, we can have some control over that. Sink your roots deep into God. Feel that anchoring presence of the divine and the life-giving water that is yours when drought and hardship come your way. And when the winds beat against you and some branches or twigs fall away, feel that resilience and energy of the divine that courses through you and the renewed and focused strength that is yours. Whatever circumstances you face each day, know that you are never alone. Know that you stand strong, filled with hope and confidence, just like a tree planted along a riverbank. Thank you for making time for your inner self today. Whatever you've discovered and experienced, carry that with you in the coming days. You can find more episodes at our website, gloria-day, that's DEI.com/lookingwithinpodcast, or subscribe through your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time.